the identity crisis of the lone wolf Sigma male. What does it mean? It is a very complex topic, of course. I mean, I only speak about complex topic about my channel, and even YouTube don't really know exactly what to do with me. So anyway, there we are. Transcending the ego. Those who are on a so-called life path number 9, they probably resonate more with the things that I'm talking about, but it's only for a very select few. And what that means is like those who have the number 9 in their numerology, living on life path number 9, they have a soul's mission or soul's purpose that really has to do with number 1, a humanitarian kind of mission or purpose. They want to create something, build something for the improvement of mankind, collective consciousness, individual consciousness, anything like that. But it also really refers to transcending the ego. Now, of course, this is a very complex kind of topic, and there is no like, if you do this, then you will get there in a matter of 10 days and you'll be all fine, all complete. Because this is obviously like a lifetime journey, okay? It's an ongoing journey that we must go on to. Now, nonetheless, I do like to share my insights, my experiences so far, although I am definitely not at the top of the mountain and I've achieved everything, I've completed everything, I have realized everything. I am far from enlightenment and anything like that, because obviously, although I can share knowledge, information, wisdom and experiences of what I've experienced myself, at the end of the day I am also, just like everyone else, a human being that also has to go through his day by day challenges, struggles, frustrations, you name it. And of course it is a challenge to really integrate and embody everything. But anyway, there we are. How can we really refer to this as transcending the ego, the identity crisis? For the lone wolf, what I mean, the lone wolf is kind of like a spiritual archetype. Okay, I've made a video about the spirit animal or the power animal of the wolf itself, so you can go and check it out so you understand a little bit what I'm referring to. When it comes to the Sigma male, of course, you know, we live in a world of identifications and we want to identify ourselves with something to give us some kind of handles, you know, in life, which is very important, especially here in this field of self-actualization, self-realization, spiritual development and all of that. We need these handles more than ever, identifications. The Sigma, of course, is not better or above a so-called alpha kind of male, because let's say alphas, they want to operate within matrix conditioning, they want to accumulate more status, success, wealth, power and all of that. Nothing wrong with that, because that's also an embodiment that someone can have. But a Sigma, he's much more focused on his inner journey, his own self-improvement, his spiritual healing development journey, okay? To develop a higher level of self-mastery, emotional intelligence and all of that. Now, when it comes to the ego, let's say the ego, it really represents like, this is really who I am. This is who I am. Bam. This is really why I'm here. I know exactly what I'm here to do. So let's take, for example, the alpha. He knows exactly what he has to do. Accumulate wealth, power, status, success and all of it. That's his embodiment, okay? Nothing bad, nothing wrong. That's just really his way of working. So this is who I am. This is why I'm here, what I have to do here, okay? And I'm going to really build up this ego even more, this identity even more, by accumulating material, wealth, power, these things. Like I want to identify myself with luxury brands, like I want to drive a Mercedes AMG, I want to drive a BMW M3, you know, whatever, all fine, it's all perfect. But that is going to amplify this process, okay, of why I'm here, okay, what I have to do here, this is who I am, all of these things. Now the majority of people, of the population, they are in this state of being, okay? This is just really how it is. This is really how the world operates, and this is what we have to deal with. Now, at one point in the life of a lone wolf Sigma, he goes through his life and he comes slowly to a realization, like, okay, so I'm doing everything that the outside world is expecting me to do. Okay, I work hard, I make a bit of money, I have accumulated some things in my life, and I'm going to give you a couple of personal examples. I mean, when I was like 22 years old, when I was 20 years old, I started my first kind of like local side hustle, car cleaning business, offering my services to local dealership. Always work, 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 because working was kind of like a way to distract myself from myself and way to numb myself. So of course I was able to drive, you know, a reasonable car. I was also able to buy a catamaran sailing boat, which was kind of like a big thing for my age back then. And when I was not working on my Sundays, I was sailing on the lakes. Okay, beautiful, amazing. It was for me also a way to calm down. It was a way to, like a therapeutic experience. But then I got to a point like, wait a minute, you know, I'm sailing, I come back from the water, I was like in the flow, I was in the zone, I came back out from sailing, I got back to the shore, I was cleaning and tidying everything up on my sailing boat, and then it hit me, I felt this loneliness in me. An isolation within me, like, hey, you know, I think something is wrong with me, you know, I work hard, I do this, but what's going on? So of course I was like longing for something. This was like when I was 22 years old, 2006. And for some reason that brought me to Peru, and let Peru be the country of divine feminine energy. And that's probably what I was missing, obviously, as I was only growing up with my dad. So going to the country, of course, like as a 22-year-old guy, I said to myself, you know, probably a girlfriend is going to fill up that void. So that's really what I was after. But I came back with a different kind of realization. And that was kind of like part of realizing, I wasn't realizing that, but now I know, like there's this ego, but there's like an outer shell around that as well. Let it be of our soul. And we are not obviously very in touch with that. But what happened, this kind of like realization, when I traveled to Machu Picchu and the tour guide said, if you put your hands above the stone, it's gonna, you know, energize you, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that. I was like, okay, whatever. But coming back to my country, I started to open up my mind, my consciousness. Like, what kind of country are we really living in? What kind of society are we living in? What's going on with the social system and all of it? So of course I was this rebellious guy who was pushing against everything that I could find to push myself against. But anyway, what happened is like, there's like a little lightning strike. Some light is coming in our outer shell. And what happened is this light is coming into our outer shell and it's coming here into our ego. And this ego is slowly, it's gonna be crushed. And this is the identity crisis of the ego. Is where we slowly start to transcend the ego. Now when that happened, of course, like we are holding tight on our identifications, and this is who I think I am. My name is, my title is, I have that. And we have reputation management. But then the light enters and bam, what happened is boom. Slowly, bit by bit, we are opening up this ego self. And this is gonna cause crisis. Obviously, it's gonna cause chaos, conflict within ourselves. We go at the war with ourselves. But what happened is like, wait a minute, you know, I can't have that. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to deal with that. What happened is we want back the control, but that light has already entered into our inner shell already. Like, think about the movie The Matrix, right? We had these underground, kind of like massive bunkers, underground cities or whatever, and the robots, they were using drills to drill holes inside the outer shell of their bunkers, and then their bunkers collapsed, and there was like a war with everything that was going on, right? So this is how you could see it. Like this light is like a drill that is like drilling holes in our outer shell, and it's coming here into our lower self, and that's what's happening. Now, this is really what has been going on for lots of us, which is part of the Shamanic Initiation, is what you could refer to as well. And the Shamanic Initiation is really like the transcendence of the ego and opening up our minds and consciousness to multiple realms, realities. Now, I could give you plenty examples, because obviously when I was like in my 20s, I had this drive that I must go and prove my worth through accomplishments, work even harder, because that's what I know. That's always what I knew. I must work harder. I must, you know, really gain back control over that. So I must make more money. And that's what we try to do. We try to make more money, for example, right? Or we have more, we go along in our hookup culture, for example, and we will say, okay, I wanna nail as many women as humanly possible. This could also be like, you know, I wanna have that kind of like success kind of thing. But then within my own experience, like I was on my journey of entrepreneurship and wanting to make more money, which is really basically like exchanging one hamster wheel to another at the end. But what started to happen, like I had that, and then I had another kind of awakening. I had another awakening because more lights penetrated holes within this outer shell, and it completely shattered my ego. But then I also started to realize, wait a minute, you know, I had this ego that was based around survival, fear, anxiety, loneliness, isolation. I could make the whole list. I'm sure you have a list for yourself as well. And then I got like pulverized, basically, and this is the beginning. This is only the beginning. And we are 10 years in this game of spiritual awakening, spiritual development, and we wonder, like, is there really kind of like an end of this tunnel? Is there really a kind of a light at the end of the tunnel? Because what I could say, as a water sign, as a Pisces, I've been at the depth of the oceans, of traveling through a lot of darkness, of doing the shadow work. And still, you know, when it comes to manifestation and why still like transcending the ego, it's an important process of the development of human consciousness, but also we must come to a realization like, okay, so much light has come into our outer shell, you know, it has completely, you know, kind of like shattered our old ego, but now it must find a way that the light is going to fill up or create a new kind of ego, a new kind of identification, like what it is that we want to identify ourselves with of course a higher upgrade of integration and embodiment of our higher self, our intuitive self, of source energy that has filled that ego, because we need that ego, of course, here to walk here on planet Earth, to create things, to build things, to provide something, to offer protection. Especially for us as men, this is kind of like within the masculine energy. Because, of course, when we are in this process, when our ego is completely shattered, it feels like we are going through conflict, chaos within our mind, within our consciousness. Our energy is like not very coherent. Then we don't manifest what we think we want. We attract what we send out. We attract who we are. And what we are right now is like this process of transformation, of moving through this identity crisis or spiritual crisis, awakening crisis, whatever you want to call it. Of course, our energy is like all over the place. You know, it's shattered, it's scattered. We can't focus. We have our daily ups and downs and everything that goes in between. One time we have a euphoric high, and then we have a deep down. We feel isolated, depressed. We once again make a massive hit within our subconscious mind, facing our shadows, demons and all of it, and then we come back and we are somewhat flatline, feeling empty or numb once again. And then once again, we are in here. We are in here because we have old programming of survival-based consciousness, and we think, okay, I've got a bunch of ideas, I'm going to do the things that used to work for me in the past, career-wise or whatever, because in the past it used to make me money, or it gave me some sort of safety, security or stability, and that's what I'm after, that's what I need, because I don't have stability, safety, security right now, and that's really what I need right now. So we try to do the things that we used to do in the past because that's what our brain's ego, old self knows, and we realize nothing is working anymore, which of course is causing more frustration. It's only causing much more frustration. And what we can do is just like relax, really. Embrace our sensitivity, our vulnerability, embrace the emotions, and surrender and allow it to happen, because this is spiritual warfare. Just like in the Matrix, like I said, it was a warfare of mankind versus the machines. And this is what we have. But right now we have light penetrating our outer shell. It's coming into our soul, in our higher consciousness. And it's coming into our ego, of course. But within our ego we hold so much of old programming, conditioning from how we grow up within our own life. And everything that we had to go through an experience, and then we realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to continue with these patterns. It doesn't work for me. It worked for my parents, grandparents, and all their generations before. But then we also must come and realize, like, wait a minute, you know, maybe there are generations, hundreds of years ago, that is still like within our subconscious mind, within our DNA, that is still kind of affecting our current day-to-day reality. There's information stored within collective consciousness. A few hundred years ago, women were burnt alive because people were afraid of women, because they hold intuition and they saw that's witchcraft. We need to burn them alive. And men used to sacrifice themselves on the battlefield, or they used to step onto a wooden ship and go venture out in the open oceans to conquer and find new land. But also the kind of trades we used to bring on board was not only merchandise, as I'm here in the city, in the town of Middelburg, which was the center of the Dutch West Indian Company, who sailed from Europe to West Africa to South, Central, North America with people a few hundred years ago, 16th, 18th century. So we hold that information within our consciousness, which is part somewhat within our identity, and now the planet is shifting into a different kind of alignment that is bringing in so much new energy that is going to penetrate our outer shells. It's going to crush our ego. We must open it, let it be, let it go, and then find a way to reintegrate and embody a new type of ego, a new kind of identity that will be filled with source light consciousness. That's the path of the spiritual warrior. That's why I've created this community, especially for men, where we can hold space for each other, to help each other, reflect on each other. Because, like I said in the beginning, this is not like you do this 1, 2, 3 steps, you do A, B, C, and that will get you to X, Y, Z by tomorrow. This is a lifetime journey process of integration, opening up, like I already mentioned. So if you want to share your thoughts, please let me know, drop a comment below, like, subscribe, join our community. Of course, I also offer one-on-one readings. Also, I offer one-on-one support, guidance to help you to reflect on this journey as well. So all links down below. All right, hope this was helpful. See you on one of my next videos. Take care for now.